Good morning, friends. Welcome to Take Two for this Monday, the 18th of February, 2019. I'm Jeannie. I'm so glad that I could be with you this morning. Well, happy President's Day. And for those of you who are fortunate enough to have an extra day off this weekend, I hope that you are enjoying it. And for my friends in the frigid north and other cold places, the plains and that kind of thing, you know, those kind of places, I hope that you had a nice little sleep in this morning and had a nice little cozy, warm morning. Well, I am so pleased that I could be with you. I started thinking today, actually I started thinking all weekend about this, and I thought about how life is a series of steps, and you can do so many things with those steps, and it takes a lot of steps to get from point A to point B sometimes. And if you've ever heard the Native American proverb that says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step, but you have to take that step. You know, whether it's taking a step to get to a destination, or if it's taking a step, a virtual step to get from, point A to point B of a project you're on or something like that. It is a series of steps. But you know, steps can also lead to destruction if you're not careful about where you're stepping. And yesterday I was talking to Michael about this, and he pointed something out in the book of Psalms, in the very first Psalm, and it's the very first verses, 1, 2, and 3. Listen to me. Listen to what I have to say. It says, blessed is the man. Now listen, I'm getting to a point here. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. Now, do you see there? You got three different action words there. Walk, stand, and sit. So what you're doing there is you're taking different steps. You're walking, you're standing, and you're sitting. So I started thinking about all the different steps that we have to take to do a wrong thing in our lives. And I'll give you an example. The easiest example for me is eating, because I love to eat. I love food, and a lot of times I love food that's not good for me, and a lot of times I, consume too much food or too much bad food, and of course there's the whole thing about everything in moderation. But let me just use this as an example, and listen, this is not a blanket thing that anybody who's a little overweight is bad. I'm not saying that, okay? Hear what I'm saying. I'm just using it as an example. Okay, so I start thinking about that big fudge cake that I saw at the store. I'm thinking about it, okay? And then I go on over and I walk to the store, and I go to the bakery, I buy the cake, I take it home, I open it up, I cut it, I put a piece on a fork, and I put it in my mouth. How many steps was that? My goodness, do you realize I could have stopped it by thinking about it, stopped thinking about it. That would have been the first step I could have stopped it at. Driving to the store was another step I could have avoided. I could have stopped there. I could have gone to the store and gone over to the bakery. I could have stopped there. Or after I bought it and drove it home, that's another step I could have stopped. Taking it into my kitchen was another step I could have stopped. Opening the package is another step I could have stopped. Slicing it is another step I could have stopped. Putting it on a plate is another step I could have stopped. Getting a fork out of the drawer is another step I could have stopped. And putting that cake in my mouth is a step I could have stopped. Anybody who says, oh, it just happened, isn't thinking about all the steps it took for me to get that food in my mouth, okay? There were countless steps where I could have nipped it in the bud all the way up to on the fork and about to put in my mouth. And it never would have gotten in my mouth had I stopped right there. And there's so many people out there who say, oh, I didn't mean for this to happen. It just happened. When in fact there were so many steps. Now in that psalm, we're talking about walking, standing, and sitting. Think about people who are a bad influence in your life. Negative people. People who are trying to sway you to party when you shouldn't party, or get involved in a crime, or get involved in some kind of debaucherous activity. Well, first you start by walking with them. You choose, I'm going to walk with this person. I'm just going to walk with them. It's okay. I'm just walking with them. I'm not participating in anything. So you're walking along with these people. Then you stop and you stand and you go, now I'm going to listen to what you have to say. And you've now gone from just walking alongside as an innocent bystander to stopping, standing, and listening to what they have to say, and perhaps starting to be influenced by it. And then the last step, sitting with them, meaning that you're actually participating in whatever wrongdoing these folks are trying to persuade you to do. Think about all those steps. I would start, honestly, by not walking with them in the first place. In other words, I'm not saying to isolate yourself from everybody you know. What I'm saying is don't walk alongside them so that you could start being pulled in. Instead, you want to be the one that pulls them in to a positive way of doing things. But sadly, so many of us are so weak, and I blame myself for this because I am weak when it comes to that chocolate cake, okay? When we're weak, we have to make sure that we avoid that. And if we did do those first several steps of thinking about, and then driving to, and then buying and bringing home, and then cutting the cake and putting it in your... You can stop it somewhere along the line. You don't have to say, just because I thought about it and I'm in the car on my way to the store anyway, I might as well go home and eat the whole cake. No, there are several steps in between where you can nip it in the bud. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. So think about it next time you start, because it starts with a thought, okay? It starts, that journey is starting with one single step. And if that one single step, that starter step, is that you're thinking about doing something you know you ought not do, stop it there. But if you've already gone too far and you've already are in the car and on your way, stop it there. If you've already gone and bought the cake, stop it there. If you've already put it in your kitchen, stop it there, etc., etc. Because ultimately, you don't want to be putting that fork in your mouth if you know you shouldn't be doing it, okay? All right, now, go be a blessing to somebody today. That's something you could do in steps in your mind. Formulate a way that you could bless somebody, and then take the appropriate steps to be the blessing to them, okay? You might end up being the only one who is. And if it's somebody you know who has a day off today, and you find that you don't ever get an opportunity to hang with them, and today's the day, give them a call. Give them a call. Let them know that you'd like to see them, or just talk with them, or just encourage them, okay? Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, Jeanne Sigler. Hit the subscribe button. And, of course, great programming, great music, great everything. WRMZ.org. And click that listen button. Okay, everybody, that's several steps you need to take to do positive things in this day. But I pray with all my heart that today is the day that you do positive things and take all the steps that you need to do to see those things accomplished. I love ya. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.